welcome to Your View. It's Wednesday. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I never do this alone. I have the ladies of Your View. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you guys? Maria, we've missed you.
Yes,
sweetie. Goodness. Oh, we haven't seen you. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been 2 days in the
Well, I'm saying though, just
well,
seems
thank
like
you for the love.
Just seems like you've been gone for a long time.
Yeah,
like 2 weeks.
it feels that way. Well, over the weekend, I got a really sad news, a passing of a dear friend. And that thing really shook me because I know that we all get to that point one day where we'll move on to the great beyond, but sometimes you just feel like...
Older person?
Yeah, no, my friend, when we worked together at the bank, you know, she has 2 kids. I just remember times when we would talk about plans. So it doesn't even matter. So sometimes you think that, okay, maybe the person didn't have plans, but this person had plans, had vision, wanted things for her children, wanted, you know, and it's gone. It really shook, I mean, it really shook me, like, the whole of the weekend. I'm just still trying to grab my, you know, wrap my mind around it. It was...
Life is painful.
Really painful
one
indeed.
thing that is inevitable is death.
I know.
I think at some point in our lives, we need to start getting ready for it. And talking about death, my father-in-law has been so scared of dying. And I'm like, Daddy, calm down. He said, no, I will not eat chicken. I will not eat this. I will not eat that. I want to last 100 years. And he's worrying himself sick. In fact, he's been going to the hospital because of worry. So I think we should just accept the fact that none of us is getting out of here alive. It can come at any time.
Interesting. I think we should actually make it a topic because I was telling you that somebody was complaining to me that there was death in front of her. She knew she was going to die because she had stage 4 cancer. It was clear. And somebody felt that at that time, that was time for you to reconcile with your family, tell those you love them, that you love them, the issues you've had. Just try to clear the air and know that you're going to great beyond, that there are no issues. But she kept believing, having faith, believing, still praying for that opportunity to be healed, that miracle. So is that discussion, okay, at the point where you know the doctors have said it's
even at the
inevitable.
point.
How about when you get out of your house in the morning, see you later, and that's it?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about death in itself.
Yes.
Like when the conversation about when you're faced with death.
Yes.
Now some people just die, they don't know.
Yeah.
But at the point where you know you're sick and the doctors are saying this is it.
Yeah.
But because we are Christians, we still have that faith that no, God can still do it.
Yeah.
But if you have an opportunity to actually say goodbye, you have an opportunity to actually make amends as much as you can.
So they always say that
why don't we take that opportunity?
Yes, you should live every day like you're dying the next minute. So everything you need to resolve. When you have issues, solve it. When you just talk about it, make sure that, because if anything happens, most times you're not aware that you're going. So just make sure that you live your life that it can happen at any time. It just gives you peace. Yeah.
Anyway, can we just stop talking about that?
Yes,
Let's talk about life. We're alive. Thank God that we're alive. You know, that is something to be thankful for, and I think we should actually remember to thank God for such an opportunity.
Well,
how are you doing, Tokpe?
I'm very good. We're going to spend most of today newspaper all through discussing COVID-19. Just remind people that it's not a death sentence. You know, like there are 2% of people that die from this thing. So let's just calm down a bit because everybody is like panicking. Somebody was just calling me this morning. Are your children washing their hand in school? Are they going to shut down the school soon? I'm like, calm down. You know, it's not death. And we will overcome this, and we should have that mindset and stop expecting doom.
But how are you guys doing? Any first-timers in the building? You're here for the first time? Please stand up.
Oh, wow. Good to have you.
I hope we have mugs for these guys. At least so you have something to go home with. Thank you so much for coming to the show. We appreciate it. Even in the midst of COVID-19. You still made out time to come. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we're going to go through the front pages of the newspapers. Then later, we'll have a conversation with the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State. And we now talk about COVID-19 and how we're preparing. And exactly, hopefully, we can get an update from the government because we're getting mixed figures on the Lagos situation. Who has it, who doesn't have it, how many is confirmed, how many is unconfirmed. So we'll hopefully get some clarity when we speak to the Special Advisor to the Governor on Health. But first, let's take a break. We'll be right back with the papers. All right, we're going to start very quickly with The Nation. COVID-19, Buhari cancels trip as Nigeria gets 3rd case. APC will bounce back stronger, says Oshomole. Mambila hydropower project site still fishing grounds. All nations' income may drop by 85%. Lagos explosion, boy 5 battles, head injury, another recuperating. So talking about the Lagos explosion, I know that we might be talking to our correspondent, Theophilus, if there's any updates so far, but we'll let you know if we have that. But who has that explosion update?
Yes, so the 5-year-old boy who was caught up in that Abulado explosion on Sunday, yes, exactly. So he was rushed to the hospital when he was rescued, and they realized that he had a head injury, but so far so good. He's recuperating, he's aware of his environment. Even the wife of the governor of Lagos State was able to contribute, paid some amount of money for his treatment, and he's okay, hopefully. So I hope he recovers fully and he's taken back to
In addition to that story, let's just take all the updates on the explosion. Is that the Senate has mandated its department for its oversight, what's the word? Its committee having oversight duty over petroleum and gas to look into what happened there, and they are probing. Then the monarch in Abuja said, carry us along in your investigation, let's be involved since we are on ground. Good news, however, is that the Lagos State has set up IDP camps, like for those that have been displaced, the victims of this attack, this explosion that have been displaced. There's a camp for them.
Is there any confirmed cause? Yes.
No,
the end of the papers.
We had that yesterday.
People were still arguing and speculating.
I spoke to a government official, confirmed, and he said that the governor had actually set up a committee to investigate. And I did speak to the deputy governor, and he said that they are bringing in as many experts as possible, and they're going to they need 2 weeks. They'll be given 2 weeks to come up about this report that we now know. So until then, we should stop speculation. We'll get a final report on exactly what caused the explosion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mambila Plateau, the dam. So it's just a report to say that this thing is much more on paper than physical. That when you go to the site, we know what I'm talking about. So it's the plant that was supposed to give us over 3,000 mega. No. Is it 3,000? No, they had to reduce it to 3,000 megawatts of electricity, but we have been unable to do that for 40 years since it was planned, since it was first put together. And so if you go to the places, there are pictures that show how deserted the place is. There's a particular instrument that was placed there in 1981. That thing is there, rusted. And every time the politicians, they especially mentioned when Jonathan and Buhari were doing the first time when they were doing their campaigns, Buhari used it as a campaign point where he says that nothing had been done. But Jonathan came to refute that, saying that they had spent $1 billion out of the $1.5 billion that was projected for that particular project, and still nothing has been done.
Wow.
And so now they're saying, well, we hope that this administration would move it from paper to
practical,
to real life.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's an update on Mambila. Moving on to the Punch, coronavirus infection. Nigeria's third case attended UK summit with Canadian Prime Minister's wife, says friend. Kidnappers abduct ex-Western Region Director's daughter, demand 100 million naira. Reps fault prepaid TV subscription to probe DSTV others. I thought my daughter was dead, mother of Bethlehem's head girl. Abiodun apologizes to Oshoba, knocks commissioner for attacking ex-governor. Economic Council meets Buhari warns of recession. Oil drops to $28, exchange for $3.69. Okay, I was going to take the story on the DSTV because that's in my constituency. Okay. The reps are saying that they're going to probe DSTV because they're insisting that they must have a pay-as-you-go subscription type of platform for Nigerians, so that when you're not around, you don't have to pay for subscription. When you're not in the country or we're not using it, you shouldn't pay for subscription. So they're trying to enforce and get DSTV. But obviously, I think DSTV hasn't responded.
They won't want that.
It's something that is a conversation that they're having, and hopefully we'll see how that goes. Let's take a few more stories. Yes,
the coronavirus. So I think a lot of us are aware that there's a third case that's been confirmed, and this lady came in on Saturday from the UK, and her friend was just also confirming that she had gone for 10 days in the UK. she was invited for a particular event where the Prime Minister, the Canadian Prime Minister's wife was at. I think we're also aware that she has the coronavirus. So she was at that gathering. She came home. She was picked from the airport from her family, taken to Ogba, where the family house is, and self-isolated herself, and that's when they found the symptoms. So she's right now at the center. And also her family is being put in quarantine. And also the government, of course, we've heard, asking everyone who was on that flight to make sure they are self-isolated and also come for testing.
The kidnappers?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, so 2 sisters have been kidnapped recently when they were attending a burial ceremony. It happened in a farm. So I think about 6 of the bandits caught them and kidnapped them. So they are requesting, they've been calling one of the husbands of the ladies to pay 100 million. And he's appealing that he doesn't have 100 million. Can they take 1 million? And they are still holding on to the sisters. But the police is saying that they've condoned off the area that it happened so that they can carry out investigations and hopefully...
Okay, let's move on very quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. As Nigeria records 3rd case of coronavirus, FG bans foreign travels by officials, warns citizens against non-essential trips. Coronavirus again, suspend stamp duty, reduce fuel prices, Atiku. Abuja resident doctors begin strike. Joint ownership of Lautech no longer feasible, says Alafin. Oil price crash. National Assembly to cut down 2020 budget. And how we plan to overcome effects of oil price crash, says state government.
So many stories.
Lots of stories in Tribune.
So Atiku, speaking up concerning the economy, is saying that we should, in order to avoid recession, let the government carry out immediate change in policies that would ameliorate the crisis from the oil price crash and coronavirus. Number 1 suggestion he made was that they should remove stamp duty and on all type of accounts and reduce the pump price of petrol. Now, Mariah touched on it a bit on Monday, that how come the price of oil has dropped to $28 and we're still paying $145 for oil price. So he's saying that we should reduce it and that all hands must be on deck in a multi-partisan manner to ensure Nigeria doesn't return to economic recession. And I think that we should listen to him. It's vibrant.
And while other countries, we're going to touch on it a bit later, are banning foreigners from coming, our country has banned their own officials from traveling abroad
because they don't want to. It's a step in the right direction.
They don't want to
don't go and bring
it.
it back.
Don't bring it to us because you are with us.
Yes. And we can't ban you from entering, from coming back when you go. So it's easy to tell foreigners stay away, but when your people are coming back to their home, you can't tell them to stay away. So it is. So Senate quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So they are saying they are ready now to, cut the budgets from 10.594 trillion to, for the 2020 budget, though they have not told us how much they are cutting it into. Okay. They carried out an investigation with a panel of committee members, and they brought out the reports that if they don't cut this budget, we may end up getting it. Yes, it's not realistic, and we're going to get into trouble. So hopefully we'll have the real figures of what they're cutting.
We're getting into trouble either way.
Whether they cut the budget or not. But if they cut the budget, we may be able to manage our resources.
Members of the Abuja doctors, resident doctors, have called on a meeting, giving a 14-day ultimatum that they are going to go on strike. Reason being that they are not being paid. And so and they were like saying that most of them waited for Christmas, they didn't get money, and when they were going to get their money by February, it wasn't complete money. They also mentioned that newly employed members were only paid 1 month out of 5 to 7 months. That's the house officers that were being owed. They also mentioned that the consequential adjustment from 2016, 2017, and 2018 promotion arrears haven't been paid to doctors. This is not the time.
At all. With COVID-19.
I'm begging the government to resolve this issue with the doctors within the time frame before they go on strike.
We're begging on their behalf.
Pay their money.
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. Let's find a story we've not taken. Senate probes Lagos explosion. We mentioned that. UTME angers jam bars candidates from taking exams over lateness. COVID-19 will explore all alternatives to protect Nigerians, says Buhari. Wow, do you feel protected? APC Oshomole resumes sues for peace, says no crisis in the National Working Committee. Jam, who has the story?
Yes, so our students who were meant to write the UTME arrived late to the venue and they were not allowed in. So a lot of them were crying with their parents, protesting and complaining that what actually happened was the fact that UTME sent a lot of addresses, those centers for the examination sent so many addresses in their slip. So they went round those places to trace where they were supposed to be. That it's not their fault, it's the fault of the JAMB office, and so they should find a way to, probably make them write it again. But JAMB is saying that the examination was specific to each individual, and so when they didn't write it, they have to wait till next year.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front page review. As I said earlier, we're going to be talking a lot about COVID-19, especially because Nigerians want to get an update, especially on the new cases we have and what the government is doing to ensure, to trace the others who could have been on the flights with that young lady from the UK. We're trying to get an official from the Lagos State government, either the special advisor or the Commissioner for Health. One of them will hopefully speak to us before the end of the show to give us an update. But first, we're going to be talking with the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State over Skype. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us via Skype the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Hadiza Balarabe. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
So we know that you're the chairman of the Kaduna Investment Promotion Agency, KADIPA, which the former emir is now your deputy. How is that making you feel now? I mean, we understand he's somebody that a lot of people respect, his economic views, and working with you in this project, how would that make you, now you're the chairman of the former emir, how is that?
Well, thank you very much for that question. I think for me, as the chair of the board, and other members of the KADIPA board were really elated to have the emir join us. KADIPA is a one-stop shop for investors in Kaduna, where we provide them with everything that they need. We have gone in the ease of doing business from number 24 to the first in 2018. Now, we intend to stay at the top. We intend to bring in many more investments to Kaduna by opening up the space. We realize that we need to bring in so many more people with vast experience and knowledge to help us in that. And so having the emir who has experience and that vast network of connections for us in Kaduna is something that we believe will help us in our investment drive. We believe that once...
All right, point taken, madam.
So we've seen you emerge in a region where women are not seen to have capacity, and women are also not seen to, are not supposed to hold certain positions of leadership, and you are there as it is. So how have you been handling it? How has it been for you?
Thank you very much again, but I think that I need to put the record straight about women not having capacities for leadership. I think for me, there's enough documentary evidence everywhere, including from the holy books, that have shown that women have been very good leaders. We have all the leaders.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we're trying to...
that are women, I think one thing that has been very common with them is their
Okay, the line is freezing. We're having connection issues.
And differences in our biological and physiological makeup.
Okay,
and also our occupation. You'd recall the exploits of phenomena of Zazzau in the 16th century. She led men in both military and political ascendancy of that region. We also have had females, especially in places that you would think are Muslim dominated, like Pakistan, we have Indonesia, we have Mali here, we also have Senegal. And don't forget that recently, as recently as 2017, we have a woman president in Singapore. So I think that we do have the capacities, we do have the competencies as women, and we do have the abilities to hold this position.
All right, let me get one question.
Go ahead, Mariam. Okay, ma'am. I think it's as you said, you know, women have proven over time that they can be good bosses, and but it is really nice to see northern women, you know, at the helms of affairs. So I guess that's what we're trying to see. And I wonder, because people would also ask that, what sort of working relationship do you have with the governor? Are you just a ceremonial, make it look good deputy governor, female deputy governor, or are you really involved in the workings of the state? She didn't get me.
I think you keep, the network is really not too good, so you keep breaking. I don't mind if you repeat the question, please.
Okay, I was just asking the sort of working relationship you have with the governor. Most times we hear about deputy governors just being like ceremonial partners, you know, so they're not really involved in the workings of the state. How would you say your role, what your role is, and how is that in relationship with the governor?
Well, I think here in Kaduna State, we have an extremely fantastic working relationship with His Excellency the Governor. I've been saddled with more responsibilities, I think, than any other deputy governor of the state in the past. There are a lot of things that we have come to share, you know, with not only myself, but with other political appointees here in Kaduna. We have come to realize that for us to work together, we need to have respect for one another. We need to respect each other's opinions. We need to respect the decisions that we have made, and we need to we have to respect. We have that respect that has gotten us to an understanding that both of us, whether you're male or female, you're from whatever religion you are collaborators in this business of governance, and that we can only achieve if we support and encourage one another.
All right.
We have a task ahead, and working together as a team is what will guarantee.
All right, let me get a question in. Go ahead, Tokwe.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you concerning immunization. One of the biggest challenges we have has been getting immunization.
So I think
the challenge we have...
We're good in that manner. We have established a team is better there.
Okay, fantastic. I wanted to ask you concerning immunization, because I know that that's one of the things that you're doing. You are in charge of routine immunization within the state. How successful has that been? And would you say being a woman, spearheading this project has yielded better results than before?
When I go out to work, I don't see myself as a woman. I see myself as a human being who has a responsibility to deliver on a task. So I think what is most important here is the fact that we have put in strategies to make it different. I think for us in Kaduna, and the quality of immunization that we provide to the children of the state, we have moved from having a quality which was adjudged to be at just about 41% to now having quality that's been adjudged to be at 75% in the last quarter of 2019. We are making improvements in the coverage rates for immunization for children, because we believe that you cannot offer protection for your children if you do not achieve a certain level of protection for all. And for us, we're looking at having a protection level of 85%. We're not yet there, but with the strategies that we're putting in place now, I'm very sure that sooner, much more than later, we will get to that 85%.
Point taken, man. Let me ask you the final question, because your principal is not very popular. I mean, he's popular for the wrong reasons, very controversial. There are issues from those of us from the South. We don't understand sometimes what we hear from Kaduna, especially the Northwest dichotomy that goes on. He's a Muslim, Christian. You're from the South, from Sanga local government, Southern Kaduna. People expected that he should have had a Christian deputy governor. So could you give us an insight into the issues we're having in Northern and Southern Kaduna and how you are helping your governor to manage, especially because he's not very popular. He has this strictness. You know, people see him and they're scared of El-Rufai, you know. So how are you working with him, and how are you ensuring to ease out that tension that's in your state?
I think initially people had that view that having a Muslim as his running mate wasn't the best of intentions, but I think gradually now it's beginning to ease up. People talk about it, but in hush-hush tones. People now are looking more to gain the dividends of democracy rather than looking for whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. They're looking to see delivery. I think why Malam is so misunderstood is because people have not taken the time to do a deep dive into his ideologies and his beliefs. Malam is somebody that believes that you have to take decisions that are very challenging. You have, because you need to change the status quo sometimes. And I think that one decision that he took of getting someone, me, as the deputy governor, being a Muslim, is one decision that has challenged what has been.
All right, madam.
Malam is not taking risky decisions.
Okay, we'll run out of time. Let me let Tokwe throw in a final question. I have to let you go, but let me just one more question from Tokwe.
Quick one before we go. I wanted to ask you, how prepared is Kaduna for COVID-19? How are you protecting your citizens? What can you say to them now to feel comfortable about being in Kaduna State in this time?
Did you get that question, madam?
Doesn't seem like she did.
No, please.
COVID-19, how prepared is Kaduna for coronavirus? How prepared is Kaduna to protect its citizens from coronavirus?
Okay, I think immediately the first case was reported in Lagos, we've had to put in strategies to protect our people. I think one of the first things that we did was to provide information to people so that they can take informed decisions about how to protect themselves. Now, we are not stopping at that. We've had guidelines from the national level on what to do, but most importantly, what we're doing now is to tell people that they should avoid being in crowds. We have teams at the train station. You know, Kaduna the train station is a very good. The train is a very good avenue or mode of transport to get people to Kaduna. So we have teams at the train station to be able to monitor the temperatures of people like this who come into Kaduna. We have also a team at the airport. We have teams at all the entry points into Kaduna. We are making arrangements, you know, here in Kaduna to have our laboratories.
All right, we have to let you go, madam, but thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We'll keep the line just posted on what's going on in Kaduna State, but we have to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be speaking with the Senior Special Assistant to Lagos State Governor on Health, Dr. Oreoluwa Finnih, to give us an update on coronavirus in Lagos State. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So COVID-19 is what we want to talk about. The Senior Special Assistant to the Lagos State Governor on Health, Dr. Oreoluwa Finnih, is on the phone with us. Good morning, madam. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good to have you on the phone. Now, very quickly, we've all agreed that there's a third case confirmed. However, social media is going crazy because there are so many updates. People are saying, oh, there's somebody here, she's in her room. Lagos State government refused to come and get her tested. Somebody else is saying that you have to charge 1.2 million naira to get tested for COVID-19. There's so many stories out there. There's an Indian person.
With Dangote.
They're hearing different versions. Please, could you give us an official statement exactly what the update is, number one? Number two, those who are on the flight with this new case, have they been contacted? Do we know where they are? And thirdly, how much does it cost to get tested? If you suspect that you might have contacted it, do you have to pay to get tested for this virus?
Okay, thank you. I'll start from the last question, which is the easiest one to answer. Yes, we're also monitoring social media, and we're aware of the claim of somebody being asked to pay 1.2 million naira for a test. It would be good to have more. If indeed such an incident occurred, it would be good to have evidence and to have the person come in and let's have a better discussion on that. And it is free so far to test for COVID-19 in Lagos State. We're not charging anybody, and I don't believe anybody can come out and say they're charged to have the test done. So that's about testing and cost of testing. Now, people are calling. As you can imagine, for the past 48 to 72 hours, it has been quite heavy on the lines, and it has been quite heavy on the resources. It doesn't mean that we're not coping, and it doesn't mean that we're not going to get to everybody. But you see, there are case definitions, and what that means is that they set guidelines as to how, number one, prioritizing, number two, even wondering, is this likely to be a coronavirus case or not? Not every cough, not every cold, even whether you have traveled or not every respiratory ailment is coronavirus. And in calling the person, in asking questions, that is when we can separate and give priority to people who should be seen quickest. We go out to meet people every day. There are at least 3-4 teams out in Lagos moving from location to location and investigating reports, investigating rumors, and making sure that the population is safe, and we're testing as we go along.
All right, let me get a few more questions for you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so, we're watching this news globally as well, so it's not just here in Lagos. We're seeing what other countries seem to be doing. And so they're shutting schools down, churches down, asking people to not gather in places for, if you're more than a certain number. So those sort of things, whether we like it or not, Nigerians are listening. And usually we look at these countries and think they are better prepared than we are, especially as we just got another case. Why are we not taking these measures that other countries are taking?
Okay, let me say that it's called social distancing. That's what we're asking for. That's what, when I say we, I mean the people out there where people are asking for social distancing. And really, social distancing is a measure you take in degrees. It depends on what the situation on ground is. And so far, where we were at, or where are at now, requires the update. Every day we review and look at it and say, okay, what are the new measures that we need to put in place to see that we don't go further? That conversation is ongoing. Whether or not, the things that are local to the state government in terms of control of school, control of gatherings are being looked at. But I'm sure as well, airspace and borders, which are federal matters, are also in view. The best interest of Nigerians is what everybody is after, both personally and institutionally. Everybody is trying to take the best decisions.
Right.
And also, number one, I just want to reassure everybody. It's not that people are sitting down or folding their arms. Decisions are being made as at when due. So, all those decisions, all that conversation is ongoing.
All right, point taken. Let me get to another question.
So I know that yesterday in the US, they started a clinical trial to try as much as possible to get a vaccine for this COVID-19, which is going to take a while. So everybody is expecting and hoping that that would happen. But in the interim, do you agree with this ban that the Senate is asking the federal government to ensure that travelers from outside the country, non-Nigerians, are stopped from getting into the country to avoid the spread? And how ready are we in case there's an outbreak in several states?
Okay, so there are two things you said now about asking foreigners to not come into Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's the federal government decision. The good thing the Senate is debating is the step that other countries have taken. At the end of the day, the decision lies with the federal government. The second thing is that how ready are we for an outbreak?
Yeah, Lagos State.
It's going to be, I speak for Lagos State. Lagos State is ready.
Okay.
But COVID-19 is usually not restricted to one geographic area.
Yeah.
It's a national issue.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to quickly tip in a question. Are you there?
Are you still there?
Seems not.
Dr. Finnih, are you still there? I think we lost her. Okay, so let me come to the audience first before we try to reconnect with Dr. Finnih.
Okay.
Are you still there, Dr. Finnih?
I'm here.
Oh, great. Let me
So I wanted to ask you a question. We were discussing it yesterday that the governor would need funds because currently Lagos State is spearheading the level of preparation that we haven't seen in other states. And we seem to be like the main entrance to the country. I know we have other international airports, but Lagos is like the hub and the gateway to Nigeria. And Lagos has to take the financial burden. How is it financially for Lagos to carry this responsibility? And is there any hope or plan to get refund from the Ministry of Health for these expenses that Lagos is carrying out now?
Okay. Well, I believe that everybody, like it's open to you, it's also open to general public, the efforts of the state government. And I know that discussions are ongoing as well concerning all sorts of things, not happening. But I think that people of Lagos and philanthropist organizations, there are needs. There are needs in Lagos, and it's not just, it doesn't have to do with money alone. Before people think that, we want to take their funds. No. If they partner with us, we can let them know these are the needs we have to support the state government in ensuring that COVID-19 is contained and we can battle appropriately. Okay. We welcome partnership, we welcome support from the private sector. So
okay, let me throw in this question, Dr. Finnih. Now, imagine I was on a flight from the UK on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or any day, and I've taken initiative to self-isolate. Some others would not have. Others would. Now, there's a possibility that we have multiple cases of coronavirus right now as we speak.
Captured.
One of those that are alerted. Now, if there's somebody out there and they're not sure, where can they go? Who can they call to say, please, can I be tested? Can they come to the Ministry of Health? Or where should they ask? Or they go to last suit, exactly. What do they do right now?
Okay, so first thing is they shouldn't go anywhere. Minimal movement. If you have traveled from anywhere right now, because at some point it was 5 countries, and I'm sure as everybody's saying, it is beyond that now. If you have traveled out of the country and you're coming back, first of all, observe 14 days quarantine at home. And I'm also speaking to the organized private sector. Okay. If your employees have taken leave and they have left the country and they have come back, this is not the time for them to return quickly to the office. Okay. what it will do is to spread it further. Now, having said that, if you've come back and you're observing yourself quarantine for 14 days and you suddenly feel ill, we have the numbers. Numbers are with you. Please put them out there. Call the numbers. Don't go to your clinic. Don't go to Luke. Don't go to Lassus. Don't go to anywhere. Everybody who has come.
Can you call 767? In case you don't have the number. In case you don't have the number, can you call 767 or 112?
Yes, those numbers, they will transfer them to the appropriate people to get in touch with you. Okay. You can call 767. Okay. You can call 112. You can call 08000 Corona. 08000 Corona. 08000 Corona. And you go to our social media handles as well for Lagos State Ministry of Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, and the NCDC. You can see the phone numbers there.
Let me get a final question for you.
For those in Lagos to call the Lagos numbers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to find out why this isn't an option where when they come in at the airport, they are quarantined somewhere around the premises for 14 days before they are even allowed to wait. Now, Nasabi, 14 days, and then we'll know from there whether we are moving you straight from that area to the center instead of mixing with people.
Don't. So, Jack Ma announced yesterday that they've donated lots of relief material to Africa. What's the process? Is Nigeria going to be able to access that? Because at a point a few weeks ago, there was a donation to Nigeria. We got test kits. So I'm wondering, is Lagos going to be able to access this new donation of relief material from Jack Ma so that we can feel like we're covered one way or the other?
I don't have any.
So the federal government had told us that travelers who are coming in from high-risk countries are going to be, tested, secondary check-in at the airports. But we had a friend who just came back, and it was just the normal temperature check that they had to do, and writing, which, of course, the virus can hide, and you can't tell. So is there any plan now to ensure that everyone who's coming in, whether it's a high-risk country or not, that you have that secondary check carried out?
Okay, first of all, high-risk country is up in the air right now.
Yeah.
The whole globe is
high risk.
Okay. The whole globe is high risk. So what I would advise is what I go back to. Somebody can come in today and test. Remember that they are just coming and test negative. Okay. And then within 14 days, develop the illness.
So you see?
And we have seen with the two people who have tested, the index case and the third case came in and were screened and were fine. Within 14 days, they developed something. In fact,
I have to let you go.
Both of them within 3 to 4 days of being back in the country.
Dr. Finnih,
I thought that we don't give people a false sense of security.
Right.
You test positive at the airport and negative at the airport. Right. And then you start moving around, and then somewhere within 14 days, you start feeling ill.
Dr. Finnih, I have to let you go because I have another guest to come in. But the truth is that we'll need a daily update from the government because there's this false, people feel that we're not getting the real figures in Lagos State. There's this fear in the air that those who are in that plane have not been contacted. Could you kindly assure us, Nigerian Lagosians, that everybody on that flight has been tracked and have been contacted, and those who might need to be quarantined can be quarantined by the government? I just need that assurance.
It's true. And all the people
so good people of Lagos, the truth is that the PA 25 are sitting on the scene. We have asked everybody, we have started contacting everybody. They have also asked that to make it also contact us. So and they are contacting, it makes it faster. But I will also advise that everybody on that flight and subsequent flights coming in from everywhere, you stay at home for 14 days till you can then declare that you are COVID-19 free.
Thank you so much, Dr. Finnih, for joining us. That's all we can take on that. But let me come to our audience very quickly. Those of you, you live in Lagos, obviously. What have you done so far? What have you observed? Because you're together, thank God, you're not clustered today. We try to separate you guys as much as possible.
Not enough space.
And once we see that somebody wants to cough like this, just excuse bundle you. We have guys ready to bundle you. But the point is, what measures are you taking as Lagosians to protect yourselves? And you feel reassured that Lagos State is actually protecting us especially concerning the fact that we have a new case?
Mariah, did you just think we're being alarmist, really? They don't.
I mean, yeah, do you even think it's a big deal? I mean, let me hear a few views from the... Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, good morning.
Good morning.
I went to bank yesterday.
Okay.
And I went to like 3 banks. I was surprised that once, when I wanted to enter, they tested me and I came in, I went in. The other bank, they just opened the door for me. I just entered. I was now wondering, the first bank when I went to, they were like,
they took precautions.
Okay, do you have it or not?
Okay, so wait, I don't want you to say, do you have it? Do you even understand why your temperature has been taken in the first place? When you go somewhere and they take, what exactly are they doing? Do you understand? Can somebody explain to me in the audience? Do you even understand what is going on? Yes, madam.
Yes. The reason why you are being scanned
is
to be sure that you are free from that COVID virus, whatever.
That's not correct. That's not correct.
Even before the COVID. Yes, if you have anything, I mean, any symptom of it at all, infection or whatever, they will discover it, because I went to the bank yesterday and I was scanned and I was free to go in.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted to ask that because I wanted to be sure that we're getting it right. When they take your temperature, it's not to discover if you have COVID-19.
No.
It's just to see if you are ill.
If you have fever.
If you have any type of fever. Because that's not the test for COVID-19. There's a different test kit for COVID-19. All they're trying to do is that if you are ill, auntie, stay in your house.
Go back.
So once you are ill, if you feel that your body is hot, you're not feeling well, stay home. Call your guy in the office. Oh, guy, I'm feeling ill. I might have been exposed to somebody. You stay there for a few days. As you are home for a few days, if you begin to have the symptoms, either runny nose, your coffee, that's when you call the 767 number or the 112 that I may be at risk. Please come and test me. After they now test you that you might have the virus, they will not quarantine you. Take you to Yaba. Quarantine them. They will take you in Yaba. Not Yaba left. No. Let's also not trivialize this thing. It's important that we understand it.
Oh my goodness.
So when they put temperature on your body, it's not because they want to see if you are COVID-19. At all. That's not it. Mariam, to add to that.
High fever.
Okay, so the thing is, let me quickly add to that, being that...
Oh, we have to go on a commercial break. When we come back, but I want to wrap up on this. Just finish up.
Yeah, so what I want to just say is, at the end of the day, your temperature does not guarantee you don't have the virus. The temperature just means that you are not sneezing or coughing or you are in that space where you can be infectious. Then please, everybody that has cold, just stay at home for a while because people will be suspicious of you and you don't want them to look at you like that. Because when they see you, they'll be like, don't cough into my face. So if you have cold or you have cough, stay at home.
Don't sneeze on me.
Don't sneeze into people.
We have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in our other guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, moving on to other matters. Let's rest COVID-19 for a moment. So, it's true. There's a report that 40% of Nigerians can't access financial services. Our guest is from a financial sector called Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, Elfina, yes. Their survey year in, year out reveals the extent at which Nigerians have access to loans from foreign bodies, even federal government and locally. Joining us on the show is the research officer, Tomi Eromosele. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you for having me.
You can call us on 0708-066804. You can also tweet us at TVC. Can you please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read the tweet. In other words, they can help you access funds, Abi, but both locally and international at the cheapest rate, I'm assuming.
Interesting.
So, because many of us have been asked to go into farming,
manufacturing.
I don't have money. And all these coaches will tell you that don't start with a loan.
A loan, yes. Don't
start with family business. But they are saying that no, they can give you access to loans. So tell us about it. Where can we find money to do business? Tell us about your...
Okay, so FINA is actually a financial sector development organization.
Okay.
And we work with players in the financial industry to promote financial inclusion. So what we promote for Nigerians is access to financial services.
Oh, services.
Yes,
not the
access
money.
to financial services.
Oh.
So it's
what are these services?
So financial services includes savings, credit, insurance. It goes beyond credit because we work based on the theory of change that savings and credit can help people to unlock opportunities, but then you also need insurance to help you to be resilient against any shocks that you face. So credit is a big aspect of that, but we know that beyond credit, people need savings and insurance, and we do that.
Okay. So who's eligible? I'm a hairdresser. I'm about to start a small hairdressing business, and I really do not have funds anywhere. I'm afraid to go to the banks because of the interest rates. When I come to you, what can you do for me?
Okay, so at EFINA, we work with the providers. We work with the banks, with the insurance companies. So if you come to us as an individual, we will probably refer you to a financial service provider that can actually meet that need. What we do is to work with the providers, the regulators, to actually create a better ecosystem. Our vision is to be the leader in facilitating the emergence of an all-inclusive financial system, in Nigeria. And our mission is to make the Nigerian system work better for the poor. So it's not about giving funds, it's about making sure that the financial sector is actually working better for the poor. So
do you regulate? Do you penalize? Is that when you say you're making the financial system work better for the poor, meaning that if I tell you now that bank ABC or insurance company BDE is charging me ridiculous amounts, the same way they would charge a big 500 employing 500 company and is charging me the same thing for insurance even when I'm employing just 5 people, what would you do for me in that case, since you're helping to bring in financial inclusion and all of that?
So one thing we've done over the years is things like micro-insurance. We've been able to bring in products that will work better for the poor. And if you come to me with that kind of a scenario, we work closely with the CBN. So I'll probably be able to refer you to the Consumer Protection Department at the CBN, to help you resolve that situation. But for individuals, what we particularly work on is, we've worked on, micro-pension, micro-insurance, micro-credit. We've worked with the CBN to come up with better regulation for products that can better serve the poor. On a biannual basis, we do our, access to finance survey in Nigeria. That's actually the survey that you just read out. And that survey measures the number of people that have access to or use financial services. So in Lagos, we are in a place where, everywhere you go, there's access to financial services. But in the north, about 60% of the people don't even have access to an access point. They don't even know where the closest access point to them is. So in other parts of Nigeria, that's a major issue. And when we started in 2008, over 50% of the Nigerian adult population were excluded. So they had no form of of using any financial service.
Yeah, so I wouldn't, please. So when you say most people outside Lagos, right? So I say access. So is this access to the banks? Is it access to ATM machines? Can you just break it
to the banks, to ATM machines, microfinance institutions, and this also includes even access to informal service providers. This 40% you're seeing don't even have access to or use things like Ajo or Isusu. The only form of saving is saving at home, or they carry their savings around.
So I will not blame them. Okay? Because growing up, I heard of people who used to, dig somewhere in the house and put their money. When you save in the bank, right now, inflation rate is at 11%. And how much do you get on interest? So you are losing money as you save, according to financial analysts. That's one. Two, the charges we get all the time in our accounts. Today, they are collecting 50 naira here. Tomorrow, they are collecting another 150. And nobody gives you, an explanation on that. So would you advise me right now? Now, even if I want to get interest, get loans for businesses, we have interest as much as 28%, which discourages. So a business that's just starting, how am I supposed to, make a profit, and pay back that interest? With all of this, do you think a sensible person will want to keep money where they'll be losing it?
So we know that there's been issues with, charges, but we've also worked with the CBN over the years to try and, reduce this cost. We are all aware that in December, the CBN reduced, a number of charges, including they sorted out the whole stamp duty issues. So that's also part of us working with them to do that. But we also need to be aware that savings, so we're not all saying that you should go save with a bank. There are other non-bank financial institutions, for instance, yes. And now today we have agents. We've brought financial service close to the people. We have agents in every corner, close to us. So people can also walk into an agent location to make deposits. We have mobile money operators that are also closer to you, so you can do that on your own. But the point being that, if you save on your own, there is obviously the risk to theft. There's also the fact that you cannot save a lot. Some people can, but some people cannot. But when you save with a formal financial institution, what that does for you is that you are able to have a record of your financial, your financial life, or your assets and what you were able to do with money.
All right, let me go on a quick break. We'll come back with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, let me come back to you, because the information I have was that you're going to share with us how to access international funds to grow our businesses. Because many of us want to go into farming. Some of us want to do piggery. Some of us want to do, what's the other one they're doing now? Fishing. Some of us want to do poultry.
Rice.
We do rice. We want to do own rice mill. But we don't know where to get the money from. So, please, would you be guiding us where the international money is in Arabia or in South Arabia, somewhere to find this money?
Okay, so I think that perception actually for FINA actually comes, because in 2019, and I think over the years, we have an innovation fund which we give out to financial service providers. Like I said, we work with providers. And so in 2019, we had about £2 million that the UK government actually channeled to fintechs, to help them develop products that are really channeled to help to meet the needs of the poor, right? So people, when we say FINA, people just think of, oh, we're giving out money. But the truth is we can't give money to everyone. We're also not a bank. We're not licensed to give out credit or anything like that. So we have to channel those funds through people who can do that and do it in such a way that they can actually come up with products. Because to be honest with you, to provide credit or services to low-income people is usually very, very expensive. The cost
has minimal risk. People say that giving very minimal risk. Statistics show that money given to microfinance loans to small businesses are safer than when you give that $1 million or $1 million to one company that can default.
According to your research, is that?
So if you look at it from the point of view that it depends on your model. So if you're going a microfinance route where you want to work with social, use this, the social bond among people, to hedge your risk, that's fine. But even at that, the working capital to manage a microfinance bank is also very high because the transaction amount that these people, it's really small. So at the end of the day, it's still high.
Okay, so I have a question that you should be able to answer based on the number of years and the number of research that has been done. What is the big hindrance to small businesses and individuals from accessing loan? What can individuals do? How can they package themselves better to be able to access? Since you work with the financial sector and you know what those people need, then how can you advise business owners now to plug in? Because we heard that CBN is now giving money at 5%. What do I need to do as a business owner to access these funds from the financial providers?
For 1 year.
Okay, so I think for businesses, you need to be willing to start small. So if I go, and also nobody will want to invest in your business and put probably 100% of the capital that you need. So if I think I appraise my business and I think I need 500,000, probably I can go to the bank and say I have 100,000. But also the bank, if you don't have any record, the bank will not, there has to be something to show,
in business.
Yes, and also it's about your credit rating. I also want to encourage people to start to borrow small. It doesn't have to be a loan from a bank. So today you have CredPal and MKUDI, people who are in this fintech space, who are lending, even borrowing credit on your phone. Nowadays, there are credit bureaus that can track that. So if you can show some kind of credit rating to say, I borrowed 1,000 naira over 10 times and I paid back, that's already some form of credit rating, because when you look at most of the credit bureaus, you know, just the history is about 30 to 40% off your score at the end of the day. So we're saying, don't just wait and say, I want to go and borrow 100,000.
I know that works in America, but I didn't know it works in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
It does here. Yes, now the credit bureaus are very active.
Sending me emails, credit bureau, to come and borrow money, but
okay,
I don't need their money.
So could it?
I wanted to ask a question.
Sorry.
But I don't need their money, so to speak. So I want to ask, because I realized that I didn't know I was a financial illiterate till I started doing a training with my mentor and coach here, Tokwe, Miriam, and BC. There was a time we were meeting, and then she started coaching us on how to make investments. So you move from saving your money to now investing in the right, and we're on track by the grace of God. But is there any way, because a lot of people, you can be very intelligent, be in the big space out there, you know, making things happen, but you're not financially intelligent, and that affects how your money goes. So are you having your company, is there any way they're doing awareness campaigns, trainings, getting people together to understand how to manage their money?
Yes, thank you. Financial literacy is a big aspect, you know, of what we do. Even the CBN, also part of the Consumer Protection Department, they also focus on financial literacy, because we think one of the reasons why people can be exploited is because they really they're not aware. Can I just say that I think one of the reasons why we came on the show is also to speak about our fintech research that we are launching this year as well. So the reason why we're also focusing on financial technology is because we think that digital finance is one way that we can reach the excluded areas. So places like the North, we normally say, okay, these people, they are not, a lot of them are not literate, but they do have mobile phones. They do use mobile phones, and some of them are transacting on their mobile phones. So we think that, you know, we are working with these fintechs, and we actually have a mandate that they all go to the North. So that's one thing that we expect, that in the next couple of months, there will be a lot of, you know, impact in the North with regards to financial technology, being able to serve the Northerners better. So please, we look forward to our research in 2020 that's coming up, and we will launch that by the end of April.
All right, that's all we can take. So we have to wrap up on this, but thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Back to the issue of coronavirus. Let us ensure that we keep safe. We're not sure if we're going to, we'll see how things progress. We'll communicate within and let you know if we'll still be doing audience by next week by God's, but hopefully we should have we don't want any, hopefully we don't have any more additional cases. No, because we want to keep them safe. We don't want to put them at risk either. So it's important that we put you into consideration. So hopefully we don't have any new cases. We don't have any aggravated situation. Hopefully. If we don't, then we continue. But if we do, we might have to advise
we
that...
can actually do this show from home.
We might have to. We'll see. We'll see. Because Wendy Williams have suspended her show. So quite a number of shows. They've suspended shows. So depending. So we continue to monitor. That's why we're going to keep a daily update on COVID-19. We'll be talking to the Lagos State government, talking to the federal government to know what the situation is and get the right figure so there's no panic in the land. Please, just wash your hands.
Use your sanitizer.
And wash your coffee. Stay in your house.
Please.
Not monitor yourself for a few days. After a few days, and you start having sinuses or start having cough, call 767 or 11. That's Lagos. Federal government, I don't have their number. What's that?
08,000 corona.
It's 08,000 corona. Wherever you are in the country, 08,000 corona. They'll get somebody to you to come and test you. Thank you so much. We're going to give you a gift for coming.
Thank you.
Ada Small. So whenever you
very much.
remember TVC, your view, just take a cup of coffee.
All right. Thank you.
Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.